Hey, what is up everybody? This is Rob, and for today's video we are actually going to be talking about California gun ranges and what I recommend you do to, one, be ready to go to a California gun range, especially if it's your first time, two, things you should take, and three, what not to do. Okay, because I'm not gonna lie, California gun ranges, they're a little bit strict, sometimes a little too strict, but for some of us, they're all we have. So you just kind of have to make do with what we got. So with that, let's get into it. So number one, what are you guys gonna bring to the range? Well, number one, bring your firearm, of course. Firearm, magazine, speed loader. And make sure you also have the ammo for it. I usually shoot off 250 rounds in an hour of training at the range, but your numbers may vary. Now, when you do bring in your handgun, we make sure it's cleared. Make sure it is in a case. Never bring your firearm in just holding it like this. Make sure that it is in something. In terms of protection, ANSI Z87 rated eyewear is always recommended. I actually prefer Oakley Ballistics, mainly also because I like to shoot a lot of BLM land, and Oakley Ballistics, they do also have the lenses that are polarized and tinted. So for me, I kind of prefer it. In terms of earwear, I do recommend doubling up on ear protection, especially if you are indoors, you guys. Tinnitus is no joke. You want to try to prevent that, of course. I do recommend both having some foam ear protection. I do recommend 3M1s the most. For me, they've been the most comfortable. I do have a link down below those. And over to ear. I do like the electronic ear protection because it essentially allows you to have conversations with people while still filtering out the bangs. I usually, again, I'll double up. I'll put the volume up all the way on the ear protection, and I'm able to have conversations clear as day. I do recommend the Howard Light ones. Those are the ones I usually use along with some gel cups that they also sell separately. For me, those have been the most comfortable. These are just one of my backup pairs. So I do recommend looking into them. Again, I do have a link down below if you want to know which exact ones I'm talking about. And just for fun, I do recommend getting some high-vis targets also. Usually when you go to the range, they'll give you like one big target to hang off the hanger. But of course, you're going to shoot that up in a while, and if you can't tell what you're hitting after a while, you're just shooting for the sake of shooting and just burning off money. I do like high-vis targets because wherever you shoot, usually there'll be a bright yellow spot wherever the tear happens, and then you can just stick on new ones when they get all used up. In terms of going to the range for the first time, at least bring this at the bare minimum. If you're really just shooting handguns, especially, you don't need to bring gloves, that kind of stuff just yet. This is just your basic starter pack. This is what I brought the first time I went to the range. Everything was just in a standard duffel bag. Of course, handgun wasn't the case. Also, of course, you can just use the case that your handgun comes with. I just don't have that on me right now. Okay, so I'm going to use my rifle for the rest of this demonstration because this is where it gets the most nitpicky. So here's the thing you're always going to see, especially when you're at an outdoor range. You'll always see that new person come in, they just bought their first rifle, and they still have it in the box, not even in the bag yet. And the first thing they do is they put the rifle on the floor, and they try to take it out of the box to put it up on the shooting bench. Now, usually what's going to happen is a lot of ranges, they don't allow that. So in RSL, we usually say, you must uncase your firearm on the bench. So remember, you guys, if you bring your rifle in, you probably have to uncase it on the bench. That's just the rule. Now, it's important to understand that a lot of these RSOs, they're going to be unpleasant to work with sometimes, but they're watching a lot of people, and they know that there's probably going to be a few people who are very new to firearms and don't quite know safety just yet. So because of that, they have to kind of be rough. They can't always just say, like, excuse me, sir, can you not? They're just going to say, hey, uncase it on the bench. Don't uncase it on the floor. So let me show you. So here's my rifle bag. So first things first, you also want to remember what way is your rifle facing. So let me see if I got it right. Zipper's on this side. Okay, so I did it right this time. My rifle is facing downrange. Now that is the appropriate thing. You do not want to take the rifle out when the barrel is facing back. Why? Because there are probably people behind you and you don't want to flash the muzzle with them, right? So, no flagging. I'm able to take my rifle out, put my bag. Usually, there's a lot more space to put the bag, so let's put the rifle right there. Let me put the bag on the ground. And that's step one, you guys. You successfully have taken your rifle out of the bag. Now again, some places they do require, if the rifle is unattended, to have it unloaded and show clear. So now let me go over how to do that. Okay, so let's say you're at the outdoor range again. You have the rifle out on the table. You're not gonna start shooting just yet because you still have to put up your target. You're probably going to have to wait until a ceasefire. A ceasefire is when, as the name implies, everyone on the range has to have their rifle down, unloaded, action open, and only then is it safe for people to put their targets out. That's why I'm kind of not too hot anymore in outdoor ranges. I get kind of tired of waiting for ceasefires and that kind of stuff. That's why I prefer BLM land, but again, you're at the range, so you gotta comply by their rules. So action open, easy with a handgun, right? Lock the slide back. So I have an extended bolt release on this rifle. So what you'll do is, right, trigger to release, lock the bolt back, and there we go. Now usually they'll have some sort of flag, usually does some zip ties or something with a little flag at the end that you then put in chamber to show that it is clear. Now the rifle is clear, everyone can clearly see that there's nothing in it, no risk. And usually after this, the RSO will determine that it is safe for you guys to go down range. So make sure you know how to open the action on your rifle and leave it uncleared. Again, I was talking about the RSOs earlier. They will yell at you if you start doing dumb stuff. One of those dumb things is not keeping your weapon pointed down range. I have gone to too many ranges where they pull out the rifle and first things first, they're like, oh, that's a cool rifle. Well, look at this. Everyone to the left is now being flagged. Sure, it may be an unloaded rifle, but it's still not safe. Remember, treat every weapon as if it's always loaded. Usually at this point, the RSO will chew them out and maybe even kick them out. Always keep it pointed down range. So something that also does kind of suck is some of the ranges around here, they don't allow you to rapid fire. You have to count 3 seconds in between. You can still train well enough for that. It just kind of sucks. You will get in trouble. When I first took my MP 2.0 out to the range, I got in trouble for firing too fast because honestly that Apex trigger felt really good and I guess I was just getting a little too much fun with it. So I got in trouble. So do keep in mind that wherever you go, there might be a limit for exactly, how many shots you can do. So count to 3, pull the trigger, count to 3, pull the trigger. I know we have 1 or 2 ranges around here that just now are allowing rapid fire as long as you know how to shoot. So maybe that's also worth looking into. Do keep in mind, this is all name of safety. Go into any range, especially an indoor range, and you will notice bullet holes in the ceilings and stuff and think about it and realize, yeah, somebody was dumb enough to do that, and that's why they have rules now. We are in California, so that does mean that, we do have more firearm laws. Usually the ranges, they don't really care too much about the laws. They're kind of more of, bring your firearm at your own risk. But I would still recommend leaving your legally acquired Freedom Week magazines at home. Because you never know, there might be a police officer who is power tripping or just doesn't really know the laws, and he sees you have an 11 round plus magazine and he confiscates it or tries to arrest you or whatever. So I only bring 10 round magazines out to the range. Something I also do is, for example, with my AR pistol, I bring the DROS paperwork showing that it is an AR pistol because it has a serial number and everything on the paperwork, just to prove it, just in case a police officer is over there and tries to give me grief and say that this has a short barrel rifle or something. No, it's an AR pistol. I have the paperwork, I have the brace, I have the maglock system as well. So just make sure to keep that in mind, you guys, that whatever you bring, just be considerate. Also, make sure to keep in mind that your range might not allow specific types of ammo, so make sure to keep that in mind. Some ranges won't allow you to bring, for example, actually, I have a pretty good one, the range that's 20 minutes from my house. They don't allow you to bring FMJ rifle rounds. So even like my 5.56 rifle, I can only bring hollow point rounds. That's because due to their placement, FMJ ammunition is essentially a risk for a nearby government business, we'll say. So because of that, I can't bring them. So you gotta also keep in mind that there may be rules about that. A lot of ranges around here, they don't allow you to bring a shotgun that isn't shooting slugs. So you have to either bring slugs and you have to leave the buckshot at home or just don't bring out the shotgun. You gotta keep those kind of things in mind. I always do recommend going to the range's website. They usually always have the rules on there. and see what they say. And while we're also talking about specific range rules, also keep in mind some ranges allow you to have like 10 guns up on the table. Some have a rule, maybe 3 guns at a time, that kind of stuff. I do also recommend keeping that in mind. It's just for organization. Because again, when a ceasefire is called, the RSO, they have to go table to table and make sure all the actions are open on the firearm so that it's safe for people to go downrange. If you have 10 guns sprawled all over the place, that's a lot more to have to keep track of. So that's part of why they do it. So those were just some basic do's and don'ts for California firing ranges. You know, the main thing is I want you guys to go there and train and not get in trouble with the RSOs because they will make your life a living hell if you really annoy them enough. So keep that in mind. Also, the things that I did mention, remember, bring proper ear protection, bring proper eye protection. You can't replace those body parts that easily, so I do recommend keeping them protected. Bring the ammo, bring the firearms. Overall, just try to have a good time even with these California crazy laws that we have. So with that, guys, let me know if there's anything I forgot. Comment down below. I always love fostering discussion. And this is Rob, and have a good one.